Welcome back adventurers, it's me, Sushi. If you're enjoying this video and series, appreciate you leaving it a like. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more Zelda content or other video games I like to analyse. We continue off from our last episode with Link leaving his home with the spiritual stone of the forest in hand, and now delve into the wider parts of Hyrule. As Link leaves Kokiri Forest and enters the Hyrule Field opening, he is introduced to a large owl who watches over him. This is Kepora Gebora. He offers words of wisdom to the young hero and points him to head for Hyrule Castle in the northern region and meet the princess. During this passage across Hyrule Field, players are introduced to new enemy types, the Pea-Hats and Stale Children that spawn only at night. Sometime later, we arrive at Hyrule Castle Town Market. This bustling area is filled with shops, NPCs and other minigame activities to challenge your skills. Interact with NPCs to gather information, purchase items like the Hylian Shield or potions, and engage in mini-games such as the Shooting Gallery or Bomb Tube Bowling Alley. Our main course of action is to proceed towards the north section of the town to find the entrance to Hyrule Castle. The outside area is carefully watched by guards, but with careful exploration, we discover our way around to a moat and find a hidden entrance to crawl into the castle courtyard. Once again, there are guards littered around the areas, and Link must sneak past the guards using stealth and avoid their line of sight to access the main garden where Zelda will be waiting. After the introductions, she proceeds to explain her family secrets and the purpose of the mystical trifles. The 3 spiritual stones and the royal family treasure, the Ocarina of Time, are all key to entering the Temple of Time and into the Sacred Realm. Zelda continues on to introduce Ganondorf, who we glimpse through a window. He is the leader of the Gerudo tribe who swears loyalty to the king. However, Zelda does not believe he is to be trusted and senses he intends to steal the Triforce to take over Hyrule. Zelda tasks Link to retrieve the remaining spiritual stones, and she then gives him a letter, an official proof of authority for anyone who might question Link on his travels. Upon leaving, we're greeted by Zelda's assistant Impa, a loyal bodyguard of Zelda and hails from the Sheikah tribe, a secretive group who have been guardians of the royal family for many years. She entrusts you with the royal family's melody, Zelda's Lullaby, a sacred theme of Zelda that will help Link gain access in many situations later on. Impa teleports us back to Hyrule Field and then points us towards Kakariko Village, where Death Mountain resides, home to the Gorons and where the spiritual stone of fire is currently held. Kakariko Village exudes a serene and rustic charm, nestled within the shadow of Death Mountain. Its design incorporates traditional architecture, with wooden houses and stone structures evoking a sense of history and timelessness. The subdued colour palette complements the mountainous backdrop, creating a visually striking environment. The village serves as a cultural hub where players encounter a diverse cast of characters, each with their own stories, quirks and quests. Engaging with the villagers offers insight into Hyrule's lore, side quests and hints about the unfolding events, enriching the game's narrative depth. Kakariko Village is a treasure trove of side quests and mini-games. Players can engage in activities like the Kako Wrangling and the iconic quest involving the Sun Song. These diversions not only provide rewards, but also add depth and replay value to the game. The village's musical score, featuring the Kakariko Village theme, evokes a sense of nostalgia and tranquility, perfectly complementing the peaceful ambience. The music contributes significantly to the emotional resonance players feel while exploring this serene settlement. Kakariko Village marks a transition from the sprawling Hyrule Field to more focused dungeon explorations later on. It serves as a gateway to Dodongo's Cavern via Death Mountain, encouraging players to delve deeper into the game's challenges while allowing them to return to the village for respite and quest completion. Death Mountain Trail features rugged terrain, volcanic landscapes and a hazardous ascent filled with jumping spider-like enemies and rolling Gorons, creating a challenging and immersive environment. Elevating further up the mountain, we gain entrance to Goron City. Goron City's circular, multi-level design with Goron inhabitants gives it a distinct and immersive feel, emphasising the Goron culture. The city's warmth and reddish-brown hues reflect its volcanic surroundings, creating a cosy yet rugged atmosphere. Engaging with Gorons provides insight into their society, quests, and challenges, offering side quests and activities like the Rolling Goron. Interacting with Gorons, especially meeting the Goron leader, Darunia, progresses the main storyline and links next quest to enter Dodongo's Cavern to prove his worth. Dodongo's Cavern is located within Death Mountain and features a volcanic environment with lava pits, fiery pathways and rocky terrain, reinforcing its dangerous and challenging nature. The dungeon incorporates puzzles involving bomb flowers, switches, rolling boulders and pathways blocked by lava, encouraging players to think strategically to progress. The primary foes encountered here are Dodongos, lizard-like creatures vulnerable to attacks at their tails. Players need to use a combination of combat skills and strategy to defeat them. Players use the bombs acquired in the cavern to solve puzzles, break barriers and defeat enemies like the Dodongos, highlighting the importance of acquired items in progressing through dungeons. The dungeon culminates in a boss battle against King Dodongo, a larger and more challenging version of the Dodongos encountered earlier. Players must use bombs strategically to defeat it. Dodongo's Cavern stands out as an engaging dungeon, combining environmental puzzles, enemy encounters and a boss battle that makes a large impact. Its volcanic setting, use of bombs as a key mechanic, and an introduction of the Dodongos as enemies provide a well-rounded experience that contributes to Link's journey and growth in the game. It is a vital step in Link's quest, as completing it leads to obtaining the second spiritual stone from Darunia. Okay guys, so here are some of my favourite moments up to this point. When I was 11, upon seeing Hyrule Field in 3D for the first time, it was absolutely breathtaking. This land looked massive and full of interesting life and locales to explore. My 11-year-old brain felt transported here, and this was where I felt Ocarina truly expanded out. Of course, upon a retrospective lens, the quote-unquote open worldness is actually fairly empty and small, but the leap in scale at the time was truly remarkable. The Hyrule Field offers picturesque landscapes, from the iconic Longrun Ranch to the distant view of Hyrule Castle. And also, I have to give a shout out to the day-night cycle. At night, the atmosphere of Hyrule Field changes drastically. The music becomes eerie, the ambient sounds of crows and night creatures, and the appearance of stale children that spawn from the ground all work in great harmony to create a sense of tension and mystery. Oh, and the rooster call as the sun rises is goofy, but I love it. Hyrule Castle looks great from the outside. It's simple, it's got a moat, and it's got a cool sounding drawbridge. You know what's also great? Walking up the chains and jumping off to find secret rupees. Kerching. I don't know why, but I just find it satisfying. I think it's just Zelda quirkiness and what makes a charming Zelda game. There's no denying, this is one of Zelda's best room in the entire game. No, seriously. Smashing pots that respawn upon entering and finding rupees ticks all the right boxes for me. I'm just a simple guy who loves to destroy virtual objects and reap their rewards. We all love mini-games, don't we? There's one of many in Ocarina of Time, and one of the first is the shooting gallery in Hyrule Market. This was a great way for me to fine-tune my slingshot/aiming skills, especially on the original N64 control stick. It's also just plain fun with the carnival-like music playing in the background, and of course, getting some cool reward at the end is always a bonus. For Link to gain access to Hyrule Castle grounds, he has to find an alternate way around guards keeping a careful watch of any intruders. After some time, we discover a side entrance, but unfortunately, there's a human obstacle in the way. It's Talon, father of Malon of Long Ranch, who's just been a lazy git. Yeah, he's just sleeping there, having a little snooze. You gotta find a way to wake him up. But how do you do this? Well, this part used to stump me for a bit, but once you know the secret, it's actually quite a funny and quirky sequence of events. Enjoy. I was always curious how Zelda would have looked like in 3D. Although I had seen her official character artwork, it was interesting to see how she would turn out, much like Link. This introduction is iconic, and I have similar nostalgic feelings as I have when meeting Aerith in Final Fantasy VII for the first time, for example, but that's another story. I think Nintendo did an excellent job here to establish her design, her childlike innocence, her Hyrulean heritage, not to mention her iconic theme song. It's all set in a beautiful garden that contrasts with whom she is spying through the window, the main villain and dark prince of the game, Ganondorf. I think this Zelda version is well written overall, and presents her as more human-like with a bigger role in the grander story. Who knew Gorons could dance before seeing this? This is once again such a charming, quirky and hilarious moment in Zelda history in my opinion. It really is memorable and so left field that I just didn't expect it at the time. The editing, the dance, the dialogue are all just on point, and it never gets old. I think this is what made me love the Gorons as a fun-loving, strong and meme-worthy species. Well done, Nintendo. Okay, and that's it for the highlights. This video is a lot more denser than I initially thought, and I would have loved to include more, but maybe for a separate compilation video in the future. In the next episode, we'll be looking for the spiritual stone of water in the region of the Zoras. If you made it this far, thanks again for watching, and consider liking and subscribing to show your support if you haven't done so. So until next time, adventurer, cheers!